Okay, so I am always telling you guys to do shading, and you probably have no idea how to do it. So instead of me telling you that, over and over, I'm going to show you how you can shade a face. That's one of the hardest things for an artist to learn how to do, and it's very rewarding. I'm sure a lot of you would like to know how to do that. And then when you look at tutorials, they're always way too complicated, too hard, too difficult. How do you even start, right? So I have these two sketches that are in different stages of completion. I am going to give you guys this basic template here, and then what I did was I was looking at ancient statues, ironically, of Greek goddesses, right? Marble statues, and they're very simple. There's not a lot of detail on them, so it's easy to figure out where the shadows are. So that's always something you have to look for when you're learning, is something that's simple, right? Which is kind of easier said than done. So I'm going to show you how to get from here to here. Okay, so you can follow along if you want. All right, so before I get started, I have a pencil, but it's not a regular pencil. This is a charcoal pencil, and I'm only doing this so that my demo looks nice and rich and dark. If I use a regular pencil, it's not going to show up too good for you guys. But of course, you can do everything that I'm going to be doing in regular pencil. But charcoal is going to blend a lot better because it's soft. Okay, so that's something, if you like drawing, you should definitely think about getting a soft charcoal pencil, right? They have them in art supply stores. So this is a soft one. You can see it says on the pencil 4B soft. Okay, so that's good. That means it's going to blend. Okay, so before I try to start doing too much detail, it's simple right now, right? I don't have hair, I don't have eyes, just kind of a hint of where things are going to go, and that is actually what I want. So I'm going to start thinking about the shading right now. So in my case, my shading, I'm going to have it kind of on the right, so as if the light was shining on this side. So I'm just going to kind of start thinking about a real light kind of a sketch, right? Little light sketching of where my shadows are going to be. I'm not going to do details till the end, okay? Because otherwise it gets even more confusing when you start adding eyeballs and eyebrows, because eyeballs are also shaded a certain way, so we want to keep it simple. Okay, so I know you all know how to shade a sphere or a ball. So the head is kind of like that, if you think about it. Okay. All right, so all I did was just kind of put a shadow, like a crescent moon type shape on one side, right? And I'm going to carry this down underneath the chin as well. I'm going to make it a little darker so you can see where the plane changes, right? Where it goes from the head to the neck. Alright, the neck is like a cylinder, so you know how to do some basic shading possibly. This ear will be in shadow because it's on that side, the dark side of the moon, right? Okay, so that's the basic first step. The next thing I'm going to start thinking about is where some of the shadows are going to go for the features, right? The eyes, the side of the nose, and the lip area. Okay, so the eyebrows, underneath the eyebrows, it's like it pushes in, right? So it's going to be a shady area, kind of a dark area. So I'm not worrying about the eyes yet. It doesn't matter. I can draw them in, and then it'll be easy to figure out how to add the shadows on that. Okay, the side of the nose is in the shade, right? The sun doesn't quite reach on that side. Okay, so you see what we're doing so far. I'm going to have a little bit of a shadow on the underside of the lid, so I'll go ahead and do that on both sides. Just kind of a little shadow, and we'll be softening these things later. Okay, this underside of the nose is going to have a little bit of a shadow along with the part of the lip. It's going to look like a cat until I fix that, right? Okay, then we're going to think about where the bottom lip would end, but I'm not worrying about the line. I'm only worrying about the shadow. So it's like a little goatee or a beard, right? Underneath the lip. Okay, so that's what it looks like so far. You're thinking, okay, I'll trust you on this, Mrs. Dare. Please do. Okay, so now I'm going to start thinking a little bit about lines. Okay, so because I want to start making sense of all this. Okay, so I can go in, and I already showed you guys in the other video how to do the eyes, right? So if you make your eyes too oval, just make sure they have points on the end, like a football, okay? All right, so always trying to get them even, right? That's the hardest part. Okay, so this is shadow here, right? Just like when you do your eye makeup, you think about putting eyeshadow on that part of your above your eye. Same with drawing. Okay, and then the top lip, the entire top lip is normally in shadow. So I'll draw it, right? I drew it. Now I'm gonna just color it in with shadows. Okay. And try not to go too dark too quick. And some of you need to go darker quicker. So it's just kind of finding that confidence and that balance. Okay, so that's where we are so far. I'm gonna add in the iris, right? Okay, nice big healthy iris, right? Like we always talk about. So then I can kind of go in there. I can add a little bit of like eyeliner to kind of, this is why you want to save your darkest lines for your detail. Right now I can kind of start thinking a little bit about my dark lines. I'll save that for the nostrils. And I'm just doing it the way I showed you guys on the last video, just little upside down lines. Okay, I can redefine this opening of the mouth a little darker, right? Redefine under the chin a little bit darker. This plane here needs a little separation, right? You can go ahead and put in the pupil, right? Big pupils. That way your person doesn't look like they're afraid. Okay. And you can also use your darkest line for your eyelashes, right? Okay. So it's starting to look human, right? All right, so I can kind of do a little bit more chipping away at this shadow here, redefining it a little bit. Okay. She doesn't have hair, right? So all I did with the hair, I like side part, sorry, right? No middle parts here. Kind of a wavy. I'm just gonna think about soft, wavy lines. Pick up your, don't try to be a hero and go all one long line. Just little like random, short, right? Maybe your lines don't even finish connecting. You're just getting the shape. That's even better, right? Shape, shape, shape. Okay. Okay. So just kind of add little variety of your lines. Maybe you go back in there and sketch a little bit on some of those. Just keep it random. Right, I'm just doing little scratches, little short scratches that are kind of like little S shapes, little hatching, random. Okay, so for the hair that's underneath down here will always be dark because it's in the shade, right? It's not like on top of the head. So you can kind of come in here and just start putting some darkest dark lines, right? And they could be wavy if you wanted, whatever. We'll be blending it a little bit, so we'll soften it later. Okay. The other area of the hair that's going to have more shadow to it is right underneath the bangs. You're going to have a little cast shadow. Sometimes if you draw anime, you're aware of that. They do that with the characters. They put a little shadow for the bangs on the forehead. Okay, so you can think about those little shadows. Okay. I'm just going to put a little bit of shadow here on the right side of each eye because I don't want it too glowing, right? Because eyes, we know that the eyes are white, but even in real life, nothing is really white, right? Unless it's glowing, like the moon. So there's always a little bit of gray in everything. Okay. All right, so once you get to this point, you're in good shape, right? So in my case, since I'm using charcoal, I can use a brush to soften some of the harshness, right? Almost like a painting. It's just a dry, soft, short brush. I don't want a real, if you have a really long brush that's like too soft, it might not really make any difference. So a short brush is nice. I can just kind of soften things a little bit. All right. The other thing, if you want to invest a little bit, this is like a rolled up newspaper. And a lot of artists use these for blending pencils. They're like little stubs of paper. And then when they get really dirty, you can actually sharpen them in a pencil sharpener, or you can kind of peel them. But these are really good too if you want to have more control over how you blend and how you soften. Okay? Especially with material that's a little harder, like a pencil. Charcoal is so soft, you can blend with your fingers. I don't really recommend blending with your fingers because then you're going to have a mess all over your hands and you're going to get fingerprints all over everything, and it's just going to be downhill very quickly. So now you understand a little bit when Mrs. Dare says, hey, why don't you do some shading, right? Now you kind of understand a little bit better what I'm talking about. Okay, so this one has been softened, this one has not. And maybe you like the character of the easy, you know, the sketchy line that's very harsh, and it's just up to you guys, whatever you prefer. Okay, so that's how I would say to do some shading on a face.